Label Radio.
This is White Label Radio, classic hip hop from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. My man DJ Nelson 1 and 2. My name is Mellow One. Big shout to SMS Audio, Famous Stars and Straps. And we have a guest in the building. We got my man, Money B in the building. What up, fam?
What it do?
Yo, like you look like you're like 12 years old, G. You look like you don't age. You haven't aged, have you?
Nah, well, you know.
Black don't crack, huh?
I usually say something, but you know.
Yeah. What you usually say?
You gotta eat a lot of that stuff.
What's that? We curse on here? What
yeah. Good pussy, man. Good pussy.
Also, good pussy.
Yeah.
So you young cats up and say y'all don't go down there, y'all better start going down there.
Look at me.
Right? You look like you about 22 years old.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So my man Money B, Digital Underground, the origin. Let's take it all the way back to the origination. Were you an original member of Digital Underground?
If you want to go all the way back, no, I wasn't.
Because the group started in what, 87 or 86, something like that?
87, Shock started the group actually in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
But Shock is originally from New York, but he went to high school in Tampa.
Okay.
So he's coming out of Tampa. He actually started the group, him, Kenny K, and there was a couple other cats that he was, you know, rocking with down in Tampa. And I think they had like a little college radio station that they was rocking out of.
Yeah.
When he moved to Oakland in the Bay, he recorded Underwater Rhymes, which was released in 1988.
Oh, okay.
And you know, it was popping overseas, but in Oakland and around the Bay Area, he was doing, you know, performing and doing talent shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
Me and DJ Fuse, who's the DJ for Digital Underground, we were actually in a group called Raw Fusion before we joined Digital Underground.
So I thought Raw Fusion came after this.
No, Raw Fusion was our original group before. And what it was we would do these talent shows with you know, the Digital Underground. It was Raw Fusion. It was the Flynamic Force, who was Sway and Tech.
Oh, that was the name before that?
Yeah,
okay.
Sway used to rap.
Yes.
So there was Mellow Mar and APG Crew and a couple other cats like Bay Area dudes, if you know the history, whatever. But we were all doing these talent shows. But Digital Underground, they'd be rocking, and because Shock wasn't from the Bay, he wasn't from there, me and Fuse would perform and we'd be killing it because we have all our family there. And at the time, Fuse was like one of the dopest DJs out. You know what I mean? Like seriously. Like,
he won a few DJ battles, right?
Yeah, not just in the Bay, but period.
Yeah.
He was that hot. And Shock tried to steal my DJ.
So basically, he tried to steal DJ.
He was like, yo, I want you to be down with me. And Fuse being my man, he was like, yo, I'll fuck with you, but you gotta fuck with Money B.
That's a real deal right there.
Yeah, for real. That's why he always gonna be my brother forever in life. But the thing about it was, Shock being from the East Coast, he didn't really like the way I sounded or the way that I rhymed. He said that I sounded like Too Short, but I didn't sound like Short just because I was from Oakland and we kind of had the same slang and whatnot. So he really wasn't feeling West Coast rap, period, at the time. he just wasn't. So, but he wanted Fuse. He's like, all right. And then I was just like, all right, about him as well.
So by default, he wanted Fuse, so he had to take you.
So he had to take me.
Wow.
And the first record that we recorded together was Do What You Want.
Really?
And I just remember, and it's crazy because when we were recording it, I really didn't even like that record. You know, I thought the drums were thin, and I was like, it's cool. And Shock was just like, man, just say this, just get on it. And I was like, all right, fuck it, whatever. But it ended up being a huge song, and that's what got us our album deal.
That was your spark. That was the first song I heard you guys actually.
That was the single. We had a single deal with Tommy Boy Records.
Yeah.
And I think we had to sell either 50 or 80,000 singles, and if we did, then we could record the album. Back then, you had to reach a certain plateau, and we reached it. And then we recorded Sex Packets. But what's funny is, even before we did Humpty Dance, we toured Europe for like 2 months. And we would go places, like we did this huge festival in Germany. It was like EPMD, Lakim Shabazz, Queen Latifah. It was like a 3-day festival. We go out there wanting to see all these people. Come to find out, it's a Do What You Like festival. We're the headliners.
Oh, wow.
This 3-day festival.
And they opened up for you guys.
Yeah. And we just had like a 15-minute set. We didn't know that we were closing this this festival.
Yeah.
So we ended up having all the people come on and freestyle with us. It was dope.
That's dope. That's dope.
Remember Twin Hype back in the day?
Yes, I remember Twin Hype.
And I can't. It was some other like 10 City, the house group.
Yes.
It was a bunch of people, man. But
so when did you guys record Do What You Like? Was that like 89, 90?
we recorded it in either late 88 or 89. Because
Okay.
it came out in 89.
Okay.
And we recorded it at Joe Jam Studios, rest in peace. But at the time, it was a studio that was known as the place where Tony recorded their first stuff at.
Oh,
He was
nice.
there from Oakland as well. So, he's like, yeah, I recorded Tony here. He's like, dope. You know what I'm saying?
And those are Bay Area legends too, right?
In Vogue, Tony. Shout out to Hammer, Uncle Ham.
My man Hammer, please don't hurt him. So did you know that you guys had something when you actually, after you finished Do What You Like, and it started to sell some records, did you say, did you in shock and everybody say, yo, we got something here with this?
What, after we recorded it?
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't really see it, but I know when we did the video, at the time we did the video, that was like the funnest day of my life at that time. Because we had so much fun shooting that video. We actually shot it in it's called the London Inn, downtown Oakland.
Yeah.
And I just remember every time we had a break, it was like this, it was in this motel. And there was these cats in the service. They had a room, and they had a room full of liquor like stacked up to the room. So every time it was a break, I was going to kick it with them. By the end of the night, I fell asleep in some random chick's. I wasn't even associate. I just seen some girls that was staying in the hotel, went in their room and was kicking it with them, just fell asleep. So nobody at the video shoot knew where I was. They was looking in the bottom of the pool, and the Oakland police station is across the street. So people went over there and was like, "Did you guys arrest him?"
Missing person.
Yeah, I was missing. So finally, one of the chicks was like, "Is this dude with you?"
So she know who you were.
Huh?
She didn't know who you were, what group you was with or whatever.
We went out.
Okay, so she was like, this dude with you.
Yeah, I just went hanging out with him, and then I fell asleep on their bed.
That's crazy. You must have been comfortable, shit.
Man,
That's strange. That's
see his face?
That's very odd for a West Coast nigga. You don't fall asleep at random chick's house.
Man, I was having a good time. But after that, when we did record the album, like I said, we recorded the album, and we left for Europe for 2 months, and then we came back, and the album was released. And then I had a job, so I'm at work.
Where'd you work at?
I worked for this company called Solar Graphics. It was like a educational toy company.
So you made toys?
Assembling.
Oh, so you used an assembly line?
Yeah, it was a small company, so I'd be in there like putting shit in boxes and folding them up. But I also used to ship out orders and whatnot.
Okay.
So, but we used to sit there doing the shit, and I remember sitting there, and Humpty Dance came on the radio, and my dude was like, "Dog, ain't that your record on the radio?" And I was like, "That is my record on the radio."
And what you do?
Kept working. I was tripping.
You didn't quit? You didn't walk out?
No, but listen though, because
Okay.
I had the job, and when I first went to Europe, I asked my boss, I was like, "Yo, they want me to go on this tour. When I get back, can I have my job back?" And like I said, it was a private company, so the boss was cool. He was like, "Yeah, you got your job back." So when I came back to work.
Okay.
Because it was just one tour. I didn't know what was going on. After Humpty Dance came out, it kind of took off really quick. And that's when we went on our first tour with Public Enemy. And I told my boss, I was like, "Hey, I'm about to go on this tour. I'm gonna be gone for like 2 months. It's cool when I come back. Can I have my job back?"
Yeah.
And he liked me, so he's like, yeah, when you come back, it's cool. And I got my brother a job to like take my place while I was gone.
Okay.
Well, after that tour, I never came back.
You never came back?
Yeah, because shit took off after that.
That's crazy. Did you ever come back to your boss and say, "You know what, I'm not coming back. Thank you for the opportunity"?
I came back.
You came
I
back.
go by there because I got my brother a job there, and I got one of my good friends a job there. So,
Okay.
So it was cool, and I would go back by there and visit.
Nice. So since we talk about Do What You Like, let's get into it right now. This is the first single. I remember seeing the video, Yo T Raps, and like, who is this group? What are you guys? Are always a fun-loving group, and this right here is the epitome of what you guys actually do. So this is Do What You Like, the first single, Digital Underground. We got Money B in the building, White Label Radio, classic hip hop. Let's do it.
Gee,
Song when it came out.
No, when we recorded.
We recorded. Okay, after the finished product was done, and it was mixed and mastered and all that stuff, you started to feel it?
You know what? I didn't. I'm gonna be totally honest.
You didn't?
I didn't. And then what's crazy is What You Like was a huge hit in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Even more so than the Bay.
Yes, it was.
And I remember coming down and just how the reaction was. I was like, all right, it's cool. But it's just funny, like even like years of touring, I wouldn't even, and this is fucked up on my part, but I wouldn't even take the time to learn the lyrics of the song because I just didn't care for it. Like,
what you mean? So how you perform it then?
I used to just fake it.
How you fake it?
Because if you listen to the song, it's just, I knew I would do the, yo, we want to know how many people in the flow would like to just let yourself go and do what you like. Yeah, well, tonight's your night. Then after that, the other lines, I would just blah, 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 blah.
So if we look at old footage of you're not actually saying the words.
If you see old tour footage,
yes,
like of us on tour, you may catch me just mumbling along. You know what I mean?
And this is before the time of the new artists. New artists now, when they go out to perform, they perform to the actual backing track. So you hear that. That's so terrible, right? That's not even like I don't want to go and see you lip sync or rap over your lyrics.
That's whack.
That's so lame.
It is.
Why they do that now? What is your MC theory behind that?
It's hard because I always try to tell young cats that ask me, or people that I mentor, that I believe in, I'm like, don't do that. But I see it all the time, and I'm just like, I guess they feel like it makes makes them sound stronger, but it doesn't. It just makes you seem like you're relying on your track. It's like, I can play your record at my house if that's what I want to listen to.
Why spend $50 or $100 for a ticket to see you?
Play your record. I want to see you perform it.
You know who did that as an old school artist and really got to hurt my feelings? Was Rakim. Rakim did that in a recent, I seen him probably maybe a year ago out here in LA, and he did that, and I was like, you know better. You ain't from that era. I wanted to go on stage and say, yo, like, get an instrumental and rap over that shit. I'll rap with you because I know your lyrics too. Right. So let's rap.
There's the only time that I could see anybody having an excuse for that, and these days there should be no excuse for that, is if you don't have an instrumental or a performance track of the song. Like
if you're in a club impromptu or whatever, and somebody put on your song and say get up and rock it, and that's something like that.
Right. Or because back in the day, like for instance, we don't have an instrumental to Kiss You Back.
You don't?
We don't.
Oh wow.
So we can't perform it. Only way we can perform it is
you rap over,
play the record.
Yeah.
And that, and that is funny is there's no instrumental that I know of I Get Around either. But I recreated the instrumental just for my performances.
Oh, so you looped a section of it?
I didn't loop it. No, I actually.
Oh, you actually recreated it.
Recreated it because the drums for that came from me and Fuse's drum machine.
Oh, okay. So you had the original drums.
I got the original drums,
okay.
And then I just had it. I replayed it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it goes to say like, Shot played the keys on it.
Yeah.
And he's a really talented and gifted keyboard player. So, even if you were to listen to it and really listen to it, you can tell that it's replayed.
Okay.
But it's replayed enough, and it sounds enough like the record that I can perform it because I refuse to rap over the vocals. That's rap to me.
Yeah, because you come from that era.
I don't have to. I remade the instrumental Freaks of the Industry. I just don't know. Like the other day, I was watching, Wildin' Out, and Dej Loaf. She performed over her vocals. Same thing. I'm like,
it's terrible.
When I was in Philly, I did a show with Dark Love. I don't know if you know what that is.
No. Oh yeah, yes, Arab, yes.
Yeah, same thing. I just want to say like, oh yeah,
why?
And I don't know, and I don't know if this younger generation just accepts it, but it's not.
They do because they accept mediocrity. That's why.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, it's as simple as that. They accept mediocrity. The reason why a lot of these artists wouldn't be stars today if they was in the golden era of the 80s or 90s because they're mediocre.
Yeah, and I even carry that on even to like production these days. It's accepted because, back then, you wanted to hear sound quality and sonically, if somebody was a great producer and it was full and it sounded great, you appreciated it. Well, now everybody's listening to their music on laptops and earbuds. so you don't really need to.
Everything's thin.
It's thin.
Everything's thin.
So they, they don't even know. You wouldn't notice if it's poorly mixed or whatever because you're listening to it through a poor audio source anyway.
Yes.
So these producers and these artists can get away with it. Where I'm like, man, it sounds like trash, but it's like, and I'm not gonna mention artist names, but there's an artist that's really, really popular, and I listen to his music and it just sounds terribly mixed and like audio wise.
Sonically, it's not great at all.
It's not great.
And in fact, also
he's a huge success.
These cats are also making music with computer generated programs. Back in the days, we had MPCs and SP1200s that had soul to them. They had body to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You actually, when you push the drums on the SP, it had a feel to it. Now, you hop on your Fruity Loops or whatever it is or whatever, and it sound like a piece of tinfoil. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's thin because it's digital. Like you said, just the analog sound and the sounds that came out of some of the hardware that we used to use.
Yeah.
But I do believe that they are, and I was talking to my guy brother, who's a producer as well, he's a little younger, but there's a push towards, running digital back through analog systems and kind of put that meat back into it.
You gotta run it back. I mean, I watched somebody run it back to 2-inch tape.
Right.
Or some type of, if you run it back there and you add that, like you said, that meat to it.
You add that meat
But you need to be around an old head in order to understand that. New cats are not understanding that.
Yeah, but even if you didn't do that, there are enough plugins and different things that you can use if you care about it.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure, even though DJ Quick, he was a fucking, like, watching him on an MPC 3000.
Yes.
He's a fucking genius. He made that thing do things like, he played that thing like an instrument.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Quick uses modern technology, but he makes sure that his sound comes out.
He mixes it properly to make it has that full sound. He fills the room up with his music.
Yeah, because anybody, you can use the technology to get what you want.
Yes.
But
also the fans are also accepting what is coming out. So then why put this extra work and why hire this engineer to mix it properly when you're going to take this shit out of my garage anyway?
Yeah, because cats are just running it off of like you said, off their laptop.
Yeah.
Putting it on YouTube and it's
exactly. It's a
million
hit.
hits. It's like, well, fuck, I gotta change.
Exactly.
And I understand that. You know what I mean? It's like, one end, you're like, this is terrible, but I'm not one of those old mad rappers. Where everything, get off my lawn, whippersnapper. You feel me?
Yes.
I try to look at both sides. So I'm just like, all right, well, if it's working, why would they? But I just think that it's sad.
Very much so.
That and it goes for.
But actually, it works into your favor because then people go and hear your music. Our music came from the golden era, and there's still a place for it. That's why you have these festivals overseas that have you guys still rocking.
Even here.
Here still, like you have them.
There's a show coming up in September in Vegas, and it's like, God damn it, the lineup is crazy. It's like
they just had the auto rap with Ice-T had like African Bambaataa and Ice-T and everybody,
And like I said, like Big Daddy Kane, he's touring constantly.
Yes. So that helps because now people are like, okay, let me go back. Oh, this music sounds great. So I guess it helps. So keep doing that bullshit music so the old cats can still eat.
And I love it that they don't really put much effort into their live performance as well.
Oh, the performance is terrible.
They just kind of stand around and they don't know how to do any crowd participation.
Yeah. They don't understand that. They don't understand that, and
they just rap over the words.
Get their $20,000 and go home.
Stand around.
Yes. But anyway, let's talk about Tupac, of course. Okay. When did Tupac get into the mix of the underground?
Well, Tupac was actually around back in like '88 and '89. He was at the Do What You Like video, I believe. Damn it.
Was he?
Did I not put my phone on the side?
It's all good, you know what I'm saying? It's hip hop, so shit happens, you know what I'm saying? Phone ringing and whatnot, you know?
Who the hell is this?
We had Scarface take a phone call and it been an interview. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I seen The Dame Dash interview, that shit was dope.
Okay, appreciate that. Yeah.
So I was like, let me check a little bit out. I ended up watching the whole thing.
Yeah. Dame is an interesting character. Yes, he is.
What was I saying? Oh
Tupac.
yeah, so he was around and he was at the Humpty Dance video shoot. He had like a little blonde.
Yeah, I remember him being in the, I think he's in the video.
He's in the video, but he was at the Duet Like video shoot.
So when did Tupac come to the mix though? When did he actually start coming around?
What it was in like 1989, because it was around the time when we were shooting Duet Like, so it was like late 88, 89. Adrian Gregory, who was our manager and who owned our record label.
Yeah.
He signed the group Strictly Dope, which was through Layla Steinberg bought this group. It was Tupac, Ray Love. I know you guys know Ray Love.
Yes.
Tupac, Ray Love, and DJ Dizzy. They were Strictly Dope. And they were signed to TNT Records, which was Adrian Gregory. Now, Adrian Gregory, which is funny, because I tell everybody, Adrian Gregory started out as NWA's road manager. And he used the money that he made with NWA to start his record label, and he signed Digital Underground.
Wow.
So it's funny, I just seen the Straight Outta Compton movie, and I kind of like, a lot of that stuff, I was around it too, because,
it's nice.
you know, like it's almost like we were part of the family. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
extended family.
Extended family. That's why you see Eazy and Dr. Dre in the same song video.
Yes.
Because they came up for Atron. Like, we were part of that family. You know,
nice.
Extended. But anyways, they signed Strictly Dope. For whatever reason, the group broke up. I think Ray Love, he was too young, and whatever it was. You know, it wasn't like they had a fight, weren't friends. The group just dissolved.
Yeah.
But Atron kept Tupac on as a solo artist. And as things were happening for us, Tupac was getting frustrated that nothing was happening for him. You know, because he was around. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then when he'd come out, you know, he'd always come hang out. Because me and Tupac were like maybe a year apart in age. Okay. You know, Shock's a little bit older than us. Shock and Jimmy and Fuse, you know, Fuse closer to us, but still a little bit older. So when we were going out on our, I don't know if it was our first big tour or the second one, Tupac he was like, man, don't shit happen. He told Adrian, I'm about to move to Atlanta and join the new African Panthers. I'm just gonna take a political path. He's like, fuck rap. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Adrian asked us, he was like, yo, I'm about to lose Pop. Can he go on this tour with you guys? And he'll do whatever, you know, if you guys put him in you know, give him a part in the show, if you need him to carry bags, if you need him to do whatever. And the misconception is that we brought Tupac out on the road as our dancer. That's not true. He did dance, but I danced too. You know what I mean? But
so because everybody said that he started off at Digital Underground's dancer. That's the story.
Yeah, that wasn't his title. He didn't come out to dance. Yeah. He just came out. We just brought him out on the road, and you know his job was to do whatever was needed at the time. So if it was go to sound check, help set up or break down, that's what he did. But I would do it as well. You know, and during Humpty Dance, we danced. We had you can look online. We used to do these little blow up dolls and shit like that. We used to do that and have a little leopard draws. Yeah. We did all that shit. But, you know, that wasn't his specific job, and I did it as well. Yes. You know, but we also gave Tupac parts in the show where he would rhyme as well. Okay. So he just came out. We just brought him out to bring him out, and he was just all purpose, whatever was needed.
So if you guys didn't put Tupac in the group or do that right there, we probably wouldn't know Tupac that we know of today, because he would have went off to Atlanta and joined the new Black Panther movement or whatever, because he was frustrated.
He would have, but me knowing Pac, he would have got to Atlanta and he would have found another way to get to where he was going. You know, I mean, he had such a drive and a passion that he was eventually, you know, like as much as people say, oh, you guys discovered him. Yeah, he did. He came through us. Yeah. But I think he would have did it anyway.
He was destined to do it regardless.
In my personal opinion.
So I'm gonna ask you this, because Scarface was in here last week or whatever. You know, Scarface and Pac was really close. Yeah. And he told us some stories about. He said, so what made? I asked him this question. I said, what made Tupac so special? And I'm gonna ask you that question. What made Tupac so special?
Couple of things. One, he had a work ethic like I've never seen with anybody. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was a little bit older, and you can kind of say I was in the game before him. So when we brought him along, I felt like I was the guy that was kind of showing him the ropes and teaching him. I was like the big homie. Yeah. But in the end, he ended up being my big homie because I'm inspired by his work ethic and the work that he put in this business. And I just remember that, you know, he from the beginning, he had his mindset. He would always say what he wanted to do. And a lot of those things he ended up doing. You know, like he for instance, I remember taking him up to the Wake Up Show with Sway and Tech. Like I said, I know those guys because we used to do talent shows together back in the day. Yeah. And I took him up to interview, and they was asking me about, you know, my stuff and just underground. Tupac was just with me. And he wanted to get on the mic so bad. And then when he wanted to say something, Trey was like, hold on, I'm asking what he be, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a minute, Pop. So at the end, he was heated. He was like, man, I can't wait till I get my own shit. I'm a blah, blah, blah. Motherfuckers gonna pay attention to me. And then another time, I remember he was in Memphis, and he wanted me to go help him fight like these 10 dudes in Memphis because they was talking about his chains, because he used to wear these silver chains. They was all like dust, dirty, and clean them, but he wanted to have some chains on, right? Yeah. So he come back, he's like, yo, Mom, we gotta go fight these niggas. I was like, what happened? He's like, they talk about my chains. I said, where they at? He's like, over there. I was like, how many of them is it? He's like, it's about 10 of them. I was like, so you want to go fight 10 Memphis niggas in Memphis? He was like, yeah, come on. I was like, Pop. I said, if you really want to do it, I'm going to do it. But I said, I don't want to do it. He's like, man, fuck you, man. I can't wait to get my own shit. Motherfuckers going to follow me, and they going to do what I tell them. And he really did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when it happened, I was proud of him because I'm like, he finally got motherfuckers. He can go, woo-woo. And they all come running and following him. And he always, you know, one thing that he said, he was like, because, you know, he went to school for acting and whatnot, that, you know, after he did his record and he made Juice, he was like, you know, like I told you, all I wanted to do was do a movie and put out a record. You know, and I accomplished my dream. Yeah. Everything else is just icing on top of the cake. I mean, of course, after you do that, then you have
other goals.
Yes. And it grows. Yes. But before those, that's what he wanted. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm really lucky because I experienced a lot of Pac's first achievements. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was with him when he, you know, put his first record out. You know, he got his first movie role. You know, I took him to the Juice audition. That was my audition, actually, to go. And I can tell you that story. There's a
okay, so okay. Let's talk on that because I was gonna wait to come back. But the conception, the story says that Treach took him to the audition, and Treach was auditioning it, and they liked Tupac a little bit more, and he ended up getting the role or whatever. Nobody mentions Money B being there at all. It's always Treach bringing Tupac there.
No, it's not true.
Okay,
bring it down. The East Coast version.
So break it down for us.
Now what happened was, I actually got the script and I was supposed to go audition to play Steel, the short fat dude from Lean On Me. Yeah. That was the role I was supposed to go play. So I never acted or no shit like that. And I knew Pac went to school for it. So I asked Pac to help me, you know,
read the script or whatever and practice it.
But as I'm reading the script, the Bishop character reminded me of Pac. And I was like, damn, this character actually reminds me of you. So as we're going up there, or we're supposed to go up there, I was like, Pac, you should read it because I know you went to school for it and you know how to act. And I knew I wasn't gonna get it. You know what I mean? Because I never.
That wasn't your thing.
It wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna do it just because the opportunity was there.
Of course.
And Treach and Pac was like best friends. So I don't know how Treach got it, but he met us up there, and the idea or the plan was I was gonna read for Steel, Pac was gonna read for Bishop, and Treach read for Q. And if we all got it, we would have been us three.
Yeah.
Those would have been the three. Yeah. So we didn't read for this. None of us read for the same role.
Okay.
So we got up there. I went in the room and obviously I bombed. I was like, oh. And it was like, cricket. Okay, next. So Pop goes in and all you hear is,
they cheering?
Cheering and clapping and shit. And he came out and was like, man, I think they liked it. I was like, nigga, you got this. Tretch, he read. I was like, you know what I mean?
He ended up getting a role as one of the sidekicks.
Well, he got that role is because Pac, he made sure Big Stretch was in that movie, Yo-Yo was in that movie.
Yes.
If I would have went to New York, I would have been in that movie. Because Pac made sure all of his people, anybody, he's like, give him a role.
My crew come on, they gotta get
give
on.
Give him something.
Okay.
And that was it. There was a lot of cast like that was in there. If I had went to New York, I would have had a small role in that movie as well.
Yeah.
Just because he was.
So basically, you're the reason why Tupac was in Juice then, basically.
I mean, pretty much.
Sum it all up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sum it all up.
To keep it totally 100.
Wow, so you was around for a lot of his first. I mean, because
that's what I'm saying. I was there when he got his first piece of pussy on the road. You know, for real. I remember it. And, you know, when he just a lot of his, and he even said it. And he's like his happiest times was when he was with us, because it was like him accomplishing a lot of his first and the things that he wanted to do. That's when he started to realize his potential and his fame.
So, like
his first tour, his first record.
When we talked to Scarface, he said when Tupac was around, you was always on Tupac duty because he's always getting into some shit.
Exactly.
He said he was like Flavor Flav. He said I would see Tupac at events and I would hire for him because I know that if I seen Tupac, me and him were gonna hang out and we were gonna get into some shit.
Pretty much. And that's what it was. You had to watch him. You know what I mean?
You had to watch him.
Like, calm down. Like, don't do that. Like, the very first day of the very first tour, Tupac tried to punch out the sound man because he did something to our sound, and Pac just ran up on him and tried to swing on the sound man, and luckily H grabbed him, and he missed him by this much. And we had to be like, look, dog, that's the sound man.
You can't beat the sound man up.
Beat the sound man. He's our sound.
He's the reason why we're on stage.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, that motherfucker didn't tell her up. He's like, dude, cool the fuck out. But what's funny about Scarface is Pac was such a, and people don't realize, I don't see why they don't. And we was talking about style earlier.
Yes.
Pac got a lot of his style from Scarface. A lot of way that he rhymed, because I remember when because I was forced to be his roommate. Because Pac was just so sloppy. He's leave blunt papers everywhere, just whatever. But every day he put on Ghetto Boys, listen to Scarface. That was his favorite shit. And I remember we did a show at the Summit in Houston. That's where the Rockets used to play.
Yes.
And the Summit's not there anymore. But we did a show at the Summit, and it was with the Ghetto Boys. It was Ice Cube. And this nigga was so excited that the Ghetto Boys was going to be there. And he was going to get to meet Scarface. Like, he was a super, super duper Scarface fan.
That's
and
crazy.
I tried to tell Face, you'd be like, no. I'm like, no, I'm telling you. I used to be like, quit jocking Scarface. Get off his dick. For real. I used to tell him that shit. Oh, nigga, you don't know. Blah, 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 blah. But
that's crazy.
Really
and Scarface said, like, I asked him what made Tupac so special. He said that Tupac didn't give a fuck. And he was a voice for all those cats out there that didn't give a fuck.
Well, no. I would rephrase that, because going back to your question, what made him special?
Yeah.
Tupac was the voice of a generation of the voiceless.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's pretty much the same version of what Scarface said, but not I don't give a fuck.
But not give a fuck because you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But Tupac cared.
He cared. He was passionate about.
He was passionate about about people.
Yeah.
And he truly, honestly thought that he could make a difference, and that and that he was speaking, and that he was a voice for the voiceless.
Is that why he died? Because he was too powerful, and he was a voice for the voiceless.
I don't think that's why he died. I think that's why his case is not solved, because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, whenever when powers that be see someone that has the maybe possibility to bring together
moving masses, yes,
then they'll find a way, or they'll let some things happen. You know, cause like, and I don't want to go all.
We don't definitely.
But I mean, but even like the shit with Bill Cosby, even though he brought it on himself, they're quick to let it out and let it be known.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when he decided he wanted to buy his own network and do a lot of
Oh, that's stuff, yes.
But, you know, Pop, he really, this is what he did, and I've heard him say it out of his mouth. You know, he thought that he was such a champion for the people that he could never, he believed that he could go in any hood and in America or any hood in the world, and because he loved people so much, and if they saw that there's no way anybody would want to harm him.
And that's probably true, actually.
You know,
that's probably true. I mean, I got to think about, you know, Tupac was loved across the world, so I think
but when he got shot, he was like, how the fuck did somebody shoot me?
Because it's also people that hate the fact that he had that power.
Well, I think when he first got shot, it wasn't because he had power, it was just some weak bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some nigga shit.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Which happens.
Right. But it's just like, you know, he felt comfortable in any hood and in any situation because he knew how much he loved people and he was for the people.
Yeah.
And when you say what made him special as an artist, he was multifaceted, meaning like his music was rounded, meaning that he would give you every emotion. He wore his emotion on his sleeve. Like a lot of these motherfuckers today, everybody want to be tough. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, like I would say, like you can't be tough 24 hours a day.
No, you can't.
You can't be gangster while you're taking the shit.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's not gangster.
No, no.
You got your fingers like that. That ain't gangster at all. So
Yeah.
not gangster 24 hours
That's true.
a day. And Pop was able to express and articulate every side of himself. You know what I mean? He wasn't afraid to show, you know, whatever side he was feeling, you know, any sensitive side, any caring side, or whatever. Where you do have motherfuckers, I don't give a fuck, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
blah,
yeah,
blah,
and
blah,
that's
blah,
it,
blah,
and
blah,
that's all they show.
And that's it. They're one dimensional. And
Yeah.
and Pop gave it all to you. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And a lot of artists can't do that. I mean, there are probably some that I can't think of, but I don't know too many that
Not the new ones, I mean, it's just tough.
that give it to you like that.
So, well, since we talking about Tupac, let's get into the joint that he did with you guys. We're playing the instrumental right now. Digital Underground, same song. My man Money B dropping these bars right here. White Label Radio Classic, hip hop, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. My name is Mellow One, DJ Nails on the 1 and 2s. Let's go. Humpty Dance got me out doing the dance. So now,
It's a workout.
if you go to our Instagram page and see me and Emma J and the crew doing the Humpty Dance with Money B.
Y'all know how to do it now, so hit the
It's
club.
a hip hop legend. This is legendary. This is the reason why we do this show, because I was a fan. I mean, of course, I listen to hardcore rap, but of course, you always gotta have a good time. There's dynamics to life, and it was, you know, party time. It was hardcore time. It was sad time, and Digital Underground
It was
was
a
that.
sad time.
When somebody passed away or something, you know, saying shit happens. You have emotions. You have
So
emotions.
you got raps for that? You got,
Yes,
you got your songs?
that's
let,
hip-
me,
that's-
let me play my sad time song.
That's hip hop. That's hip hop. Emotional hip hop.
Usually play hip hop to cheer you up.
What about, you know, saying
Give me a sad time song.
how long will they mourn you?
I
Tupac.
was gonna say Tupac has so many sad songs.
How long will they mourn? Yes, that's a sad song.
Okay.
Very much so. That comes on every time.
Play that at funeral.
Yeah, right? Exactly, you know. What about the ones, I miss my homies. What was that, Dead Homies? What was that,
My Dead Homies.
Yeah.
My Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, Dead Homies?
Yeah, I guess you got it.
So yeah, there's a couple sad ones.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the songs that make you think. But
About, yeah.
I guess, but it's kind of weird to say a song. You play a song that makes you sad.
It don't make you sad. When you're sad, you have
Okay,
songs
yeah,
that
you play it.
I mean, it lifts you up because you're sad.
Say that.
Because you're
Then. I'm
sad.
like,
It don't-
have sad songs.
It don't make you sad. It should.
I feel like being sad today.
Don't make you cry.
That. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't make none of those.
Yeah, no.
I hope I didn't.
You may feel good music. You may feel good music.
Yeah.
How does it feel to still go to, like, you do festivals and there's 30,000, 50,000 people and they are singing that and they're like 22 years old? How does that feel?
I feel blessed. You know what I mean? Because me growing up as a hardcore hip hop fan.
Yes.
The fact that I know that I made music that's timeless is forever. You know what I mean? I've actually been on a few hip hop classics. So
Yes.
no matter what I do for the rest of my life, you can't take it away from me. You know what I mean? And that's.
You walk through the airport, people know who you are, and the whole nine. They take pictures of you.
You know what's crazy?
What?
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
They be like Skilo. I'm like,
But actually, that's a good thing because you have these hits, so you're not bombarded with a bunch of stuff. You can kind of go in and out. You know.
yeah, I mean,
good.
the further and further away you get from it, the less you get recognized.
Yes.
But you know, every now and then you do, or if you're in the environment where they're expecting to see you,
Yes.
then they do.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But if I, walk out of here and start walking down Cahuenga, it's not gonna be like, oh shit, there you go.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
You might walk into the CVS and might say, "Hey, I know you from somewhere. Where I know
I
you
get that all
from?"
the time. Like, man, what did you go? I'm like, what high school?
What high school you went to exactly? That's the first thing come out of your mouth.
Nah, I didn't go there.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Because people, I've actually had people come up to me like I was in fucking Ralph's, and he's like, man, you know what? You look just like that dude from Digital Underground. And I'm like, yeah, I hear that all the time. They're like, you sound like him too. I'm like, damn, if I sound like him,
and look like him, I must be here.
but they be like, yeah.
People are dumb though, so I mean, it just happen that way.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. It's not like I go out and everybody's like, oh shit.
No.
But you do in certain places.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
You can enjoy your dinner,
Exactly.
your movie or whatever.
Because I never really did it to be recognized like that.
Yeah.
I did it because I enjoyed making the music and I enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
So let's bring us to the current day now. We talked about the past and whatnot. We talked about everything. What are you currently doing? I know you got a radio show, which, we're going to plug it regardless, you know what I'm saying? It's called The Way Back Show?
It's called The Going Way Back Show.
Okay.
The tagline is classic hip hop, we're on uncut. And basically.
So we competition, technically, huh? So
Technically.
I should have had your ass on here then, huh? That's why you wanted to come over here so you can infiltrate our system up.
If we was on at the same time, on the
Okay.
same day,
Yeah,
it would be. But I'd actually have you on my show.
I appreciate that.
You know, if you wanna come
you better
to
now.
plug it.
You guys hear that now.
Alright.
You guys hear that now. I should be on The Way Back Show real soon,
You
you know?
really should, because my whole thing is appreciation for the culture.
Yes.
And what I do is it's a platform for, I call them classic artists. A lot of people say old school
I
artists.
hate the term old school artist. I love
Yeah.
classic. Classic sounds better.
I say classic artists, and the unique thing about my show is most of these artists that I have on my show, I've either toured with them,
Your
partied
friends,
with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So our interviews are almost like just conversations and recapping and
Yes.
just I like, remember that time? Or even if I have an artist, like say I've had like I don't know if you guys remember Spider D or Sparky D or just like a Spoonie G, like some of the artists
Spoonie G, yeah.
that I grew up on, like a
Yeah.
Melly Mel or even
Yeah.
Kumo D.
Yes.
It's a lot of questions that I want to ask that I've been wanting to ask since I was like 14 years old.
Because you're a fan too.
Because I was a super fan.
And that's the perspective I come from. I'm a fan.
Exactly.
So that's exactly.
But when I have like say a Big Daddy Kane or Dougie Fresh or a Milk D, we talk about old times and
Yeah.
like I had Big Daddy Kane on my show and he's talking about this time when we were on tour that
I'm jealous now. You have Big Daddy Kane on the show? That's one of my favorites
Oh,
of all
word?
time. I think me and Corrupt, I went to high school with Corrupt. We used to have debates about who was better. Big
Who?
Daddy
Corrupt?
Kane, Corrupt, yeah.
okay, go ahead.
We had debates. He was a Rakim fan. He came from Philly. He was Rakim all day long. I was Big Daddy Kane. I think Big Daddy Kane is better than Rakim. Uh-oh. Look at your face. Look at your face. Because this is the reason. This is the reason
Kane is
why.
my man,
But this is the reason why. This is the
Okay.
reason why. Because Big Daddy Kane can spit those raps that Rakim can spit. As far as he's lyrically gifted. He makes great music, but he also entertains you. Rakim never entertained you at all. You go to Rakim's
That stage show was terrible.
terrible stage show.
Stage
So
show.
that's
He was my guy.
and that's what put Big Daddy Kane over the top because bar for bar they were equal to me.
Well, I have an opinion about that.
Okay.
Like, Kane is my guy. Like, what I'm saying? That's my brother.
Yes.
We've done it. You know what I mean? I can tell you stories about
Okay.
Kane. And if we have time, after I say this, if you want, I'll tell you a funny ass story.
Okay.
But, Rakim, he kind of was inspirational to me because coming up, I never really had that loud voice. Before Rakim, if you got in a cypher or whatever, you got to be like a hip and a hop, whatever.
Yeah.
When Rock came out, or even Ram LZ, you know, they had the smooth, laid back flow.
Yes.
And I was like, oh shit, I can do that. You know what I mean? So it kind of like inspired me. But I would say like, you can't really, well you can, but I don't like to compare them. I just say like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Melly Mel, even LL Cool J. When they were at their peak,
Yeah.
they introduced something to the game that hadn't been done before.
They were definitely all trendsetters.
They all trendsetters.
Yes.
They changed the game. Each one of those guys, when they came
That's
in,
true.
they changed it. Like when you heard Rakim, you hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
When you heard Kane, you hadn't heard that before. When you heard Melly Mel, you hadn't heard that before.
That's true.
When you heard LL, you really hadn't heard that before. Even though Run DMC, but not from a young guy like that.
Yeah. So we scratch all that. So pick one. If you had to pick one, Big Daddy Kane or Rakim, who would you pick? I'm putting you on the
Turn the
spot right
cameras
now.
off. No,
I'm putting you on the spot right now. You have to pick one. Pick one, Money Big.
Kane, I'm gonna go with Rakim.
Why?
God damn it.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
Woo! Why?
Yeah, why?
Like I said, just because I related to him more because he had like a mellow, smooth flow.
Okay.
But I don't think either one was better. Like
No,
I said,
it's not bad. It wasn't bad. Like I love them all. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
they were all great. I
because
just picked one
when
over
Kane
another.
came out, I was like, what the fuck?
Yes.
This nigga's
Yes.
nice.
And he danced like a motherfucker. Hey, still-
And he was an entertainer.
Yes.
All around. Like,
Yes.
still to this day, he
To
still
this
does
day.
it.
To this day.
Which is dope. So back to what I was saying. Show, the Going Way Back show, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. T Radio V.
Yes.
Just if you want information about it, follow me on all social media at MoneyB69. But the show is dope, and I do a podcast and I do a live stream. But I have different segments on my show. Like I do classic battles, which classic battles on wax. I play
Okay.
different battles. We discuss it. I have a segment where I do Who Said It, where I have Ty Teasy, my co-host, and my wife, who's not really into hip hop. She'll say a classic line from a hip hop song, but she doesn't know hip hop. So she doesn't have any cadence or anything.
She just reads it.
And then either my guest or a caller has to guess who's the artist and what song it comes from.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? And then I got like deep cover where I'll show a piece of a record of an album cover, and you have to guess what album that is.
Oh, nice.
So I do different fun things with my
That's
show,
dope.
but it's all about classic hip hop.
We gotta check that out. Make sure you check
You
that out.
definitely
out
have to
there.
check me out. You got to come on my show.
I'm down. Well, let me know when. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it.
Get on with your guy.
And
I'm
let's-
always recording new music. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let's talk about new music. Now you got some new music you just dropped. You kind of just gave it to us. It's fresh off the presses, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually did it a minute ago, but it's one of the latest songs that I've done. I'm always recording. You know, once you're an artist, you know you're always an artist. And I just believe that, with all of our classic artists, like there are like Tupac and Biggie, their rhymes from '96 still stand up.
Of course.
And there are a lot of MCs like like you have your Corrupts or your Special Eds or whoever.
Snoop Dogg and
Snoop Dogg, yeah,
sure, they still doing it.
They still rock.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's what it is we're such this music, hip hop is so youth driven that you feel like, oh, if you're past a certain age, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And then they tune you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the artistry and talent is still there. But I feel like now hip hop has come so far that we can still, like, what I hate is when cats from our era try to conform and try to sound like the younger dudes.
Yeah,
it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
We love you. We love Kane because he rapped like Kane.
Yeah.
So continue to do that. We'll support it if it's a great record. And now that we have a lot of these old school stations popping up on these clear channels and these whatevers, you know what I'm saying? There are outlets
for us, yes.
For it.
And your
So,
show, my show, same thing, yes.
And your show, my show, we're gonna play it because anytime an artist comes, if he has something new, I play it. If he has a new business or whatever, I'm gonna promote it.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I'm doing that. Obviously, still performing, getting it in.
So what's the new song you just brought? Let's get into that because you hooked up with the legendary DJ Premier, right?
Premier is my guy. You know what I mean? I've known him since shit. I don't know if you remember the Gavin conventions back in the day.
Yes.
Came to the Bay. I brought him to my crib. Had a party in my apartment. me, Tupac, Guru, Premier. I don't know if you remember the group KMD with Sub Rock.
Yes, yes.
It was
MF
at the
Doom.
crib. Exactly.
Yes.
It was all at the crib. You know, I just invited all
Everybody
of them
was there,
and
yeah.
showed them some Bay love, Bay Area hospitality, and he never forgot that. And we've been tight ever since. So a little while back, we got together. We did a joint. It's me, my man Scott Knotts from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Ryan Fest. Y'all know Ryan
Yes,
Fest.
Ryan Fest.
We did a joint. Premier produced it, and it's one of the ones.
Let's get into it right now. What is it called? It's called Make It Sound, right?
It's gonna make it sound.
Make this sound right here. White Label Radio, Money B, DJ Premier. You know how you do it. Let's go. Oh, that was Money B's joint with DJ Premier right there. You know.
Yeah.
And where can we find that joint at?
iTunes.
iTunes.
Basically, make the sound. And actually,
What album is on?
It's a single. It's from Mask, MASK, and it stands for Money B and Scott Knox.
Okay.
That's me, my man Scott Knox. Like I said, he's out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and
Nice.
Premier did it for us. My
That's
man
dope.
Ron Fest jumped on it, and it's dope.
So I know you're on social media once again, so let us know where we can find you at.
At MoneyB69 on all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And like the Money B Facebook fan page.
Okay, that's what's
Get
up.
at me. Oh,
But-
and make sure you subscribe to the Going Way Back Show YouTube channel,
Okay.
because all of our shows are, all of our archive shows.
Just like
are
you
there.
saw ours on YouTube
Yeah.
as well too, so that's dope.
And check out goingwaybackshow.com. That's GOIN. Going Way Back Show.
Going hip hop style.
Yeah, goingwaybackshow.com. Check it out.
And since we have guests on and we like to give our guests gifts
Uh-oh.
for coming on. Look
What you about to do?
Look at you. No, ain't that type of gift, whatever. We're sponsored by a few headwear companies, so we give you some hats.
Some snapbacks.
Famous
y'all
stars
must,
and
y'all must
straps.
know I love hats.
Big shout out to Famous Stars and Strap for hooking us up or whatever.
Hey, you
So
want to know something really crazy?
what's that?
Because I was looking at you wearing that, I was like, I'm jealous.
Okay, see there you go. There you go. So we
Wanted
got
that hat.
we got you all good.
All right, just go with my baby blue thong I'll be wearing.
The baby, oh, nah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah, easy. This is a part of the show we actually
Just
cut you
playing,
off early.
man.
No. So we want to thank you for coming through. We appreciate what you've done for hip hop. We appreciate you coming through and rocking with us, man, and dropping those gems on us.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, man.
Yo, this is White Label Radio. My name is Mellow One. That's DJ Nails. You can find us at White Label Radio, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. This is the part of the show where we actually get
Follow
out of
me.
here. Big shout out to Emma J, our producer. We got the Donna in the building. We got Lord Ray Ray on the camera. We got King Vashti. Also, make sure you check us out on thehundreds.com. We're blogging. I'm talking that shit. King Vashti is writing it or whatever. We got a story up about Philly and whatnot. So make sure you check us out on thehundreds.com. Check us out. Let us know. You got something else to say. Look at you. Look
Yeah,
at
no,
you.
I
Look
was
at
saying, because you saying you went to high school with Corrupt, right?
Yes, I
You know,
did.
you're from Philly, right?
Yes.
And I told you I'm from Philly originally.
Yes.
You know, Corrupt's mom and my mom went to the same high school.
What? Really?
Yeah,
That's random.
he came on my show, and I was like, because I was talking to his mom, rest in peace, before she passed.
Wow.
And she went to
that's
Girls High in Philly. My mom went there as well, but they went like a few years apart. His mother was a little bit older.
That's crazy. It's a small world.
It is a
And
small.
look at you guys now, hip hop legends.
Oh man, my guy.
Well, that's it,
Got
guys. Let's get out of here. You know what I'm saying? White Label Radio, classic hip hop, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. But in the meantime, in between time, we are out. Peace.
Thank you.